Hello and welcome, internet back to Or Just Something Z. And well, I feel like if you clicked on this video, you kinda know what I'm about to talk about. Teletubbies. The children's show that I genuinely had a hard time looking things up for, not just for the fact that whenever I looked up the powers or the history of the Teletubbies, I get conspiracy theories, but also the fact that it's one of the hardest children's show to spell, and I can guarantee that I haven't spelled it correct once. Anyways, the point of the video is that I'm going to figure out while writing this if I can beat up the Teletubbies. And if you're wondering how I got to this point in my life, at around 2 in the morning, me and a bud of mine were watching a video of a guy talking about if he could beat up Five Nights at Freddy's, which will be in the description. But in my sleep-deprived state, I went down a rabbit hole thinking of what else I could beat in a fight. So I immediately went to My Little Pony, with me at first going to the turtle tank, and me thinking that I can easily beat them if I just turn them to the side. But then, as I went on through the Wikipedia page, I went to a child that sneezes are so powerful it could destroy ceilings. So after a mental breakdown, almost posting a questionable thing on Instagram, and my mate asking and begging for assistance because I was not mentally stable, I eventually got to Pokemon. But then I began to think of what I've been horrified since the moment I was born. Tinky Winky. So here we are. And since I think that's the intro of the video done, let's jump into the video in 3, 2, 1.
Subscribe to Something Z, and hit the bell button to get notifications whenever this loser uploads.
Okay, so if you're still here, you must be like me, a complete idiot. So now let's just go into the rules of the battle. Rule 1. I am not allowed weapons besides one-handed non-ranged objects, because I think a gun would be too strong and too much of an advantage. But since I'll fully admit I'm below average in strength and height, I need to have something to equal the playing field. And since these creatures are stronger than the average human, it equals out. However, the Teletubbies get to bring an object of their choosing, which I will decide based on their favorite objects or what I expect them to bring. Rule 2. The arena. Okay, first things first, we are not fighting inside Teletubby land, since the Teletubbies have the home field advantage, along with the fact that so many things could happen that I would be able to shift the battle within a second. And I'm not going to places I know for the same reason. You know, besides the fact that I can't summon houses or create floods big enough for boats in the span of seconds. So after using a location generator, we will be fighting within the Winchester Cathedral. And for the reason why we're there, I decided to go to Winchester for Wong Donuts and just kind of decide to be religious for a day, while the Tubbies are after children or whatever. Rule 3, this will be strictly 1v1s, with there being no outside interference except for this magical pinwheel. And the reason that this is the only thing that has any interference is that because the Teletubbies are powered or at their maximum when this pinwheel is around, because it allows them to use the TVs that are in their stomachs, and I want them to be at their full capability. And that's also a reason we can't use their turf, because the pinwheel can cause flooding. So, yeah. Rule 4, you may be asking, to what extent are we going to go to? And well, it's simple. To the death. With me even creating motives that make sense. I'm fighting them for my trauma because I'm a crazy person, and for the Teletubbies it's for a toddler if they win. Now before we get into the actual beatdown of them individually, I'm going to talk about what a Teletubby is, and what they mostly have in common. If you look at the opening of the Teletubbies, you may think that they have super strengths, or just basically superhuman in every sense, based on the fact they're able to jump a height that before they even jump you weren't able to even see them. So at the very least they have to jump around 7 to 11 feet into the air. Since Poe, the red one, is the smallest at 6'5". Meanwhile the biggest, Tinky Winky, is around 10 feet tall, which is at least a foot higher than the current record holder, Christopher Spell, at 5 feet and 7 inches. So I would believe that it may be a type 1, maybe if we push it, it could be a type 2, in the realm of super jump, but we haven't seen anything that could confirm that, or at least to my knowledge. Side note here, I didn't know there was a type level system, which I just found out was real, with type 2 being able to jump over entire towns and or cities, and heights equal to buildings. Then we get type 3 being able to jump over regions, lakes to across the continent and above mountains. Then we got type 4 being able to jump over and above the entire planets, possibly even nearby worlds. Then we get maximum leap of type 5. Being able to jump near infinite levels, examples across cosmic distances. Anyways, but although they have this great ability, the Teletubbies seem to be uncoordinated, and they seem to not have super speed of any type. They also have a super suck, and that's mainly irrelevant because that's just how they eat. But then beyond their bronze, they seem to be not the smartest tools in the shed, with them seeming to act like weird children, but I have no clue why. Then we got their antenna or weird tumor things, and with the power of the pinwheel they glow, and when they glow the TV stomachs turn on, which allows them to see into the real world, with there seeming to be no maximum range in the signal, with the only downside being that whoever they're spying on, most of the time it being children, knows that they're being watched. So it's either that they can summon a camera guy or a drone, or maybe the most chaotic option, they summon a spiritual form of themselves, which watches the child. And with that, they are able to get real-time footage, which although is most likely not going to be useful in a 1v1, is something that I would like to point out. Okay, so now it's time for the first and smallest Teletubby, which is Po, who is standing at an astounding 6'5", and the one I found out was Asian not too long ago, and apparently she's able to speak Cantonese, which I believe could make her a bit smarter than the others, at least just a tiny little bit. And because she loves big hugs, it would make it seem like she would be more of a grappler in combat. But something that makes her a potential threat is the fact that she may know karate, because in the official Teletubby website, she is cited in her signature moves are karate-style hand poses, which could mean she knows at least a little bit, meaning she could have a bit of an advantage. Also the star jump, which could help her thanks to the super jump that the Teletubbies can do. But let's not even bring into the fact that her special thing of choice is a scooter, which would give her mobility, also something potentially she could use against me in a fight. So there's a chance that Po could be a giant threat to my well-being, but I still may have a chance. Because although she may know karate, she may not be the best at it, since Teletubbies are not the most coordinated creatures. Kinda like how a stormtrooper, although has a gun, because of their bad aim, they're easier to take down. Then even though the scooter could be detrimental to my health, if I could dodge it just in time, I'll be fine. Then we also have the fact that we are in a cathedral, so it would be hard for them to move around in the scooter. So if I had a bat or a mace of some sort, I could see it as me being able to win the fight just barely, or we could end in a tie, which I would still take as a victory in my book. Okay, here we have probably the most dangerous of the squad. Tinky Winky, the biggest at 10 feet tall, and the eldest of the eldritch creatures, and is described as one of the most gentle of the group. But again, if we're going on the fact that if they win they get a small child, Tinky would have no problems killing me, and this fight would be swift and painless. Or I wouldn't even call this a fight, more like just a murder, because the item of choice that Tinky would choose would be a gun, a straight up gun. And you may be thinking about the rules and how only non-range weapons are allowed, and if you listen closely you would have heard that I said it was limited to me. And if you're wondering why Tinky Winky is wielding a gun, well, in 2000 basically there was an incident where a Tinky Winky toy admitted that it had a gun, which although is bad, apparently Tinky Winky is more malicious than most people believe, because it kept on saying again, again. So if this one owns a gun, what's stopping the one on TV having one? Or the one I'm fighting? And if that's already trying to murder me, well I don't think it would hold back. So this fight goes immediately to Tinky Winky, basically no matter what weapon I get. Also it's just like Po, meaning he likes hugs, so he's a grappler as well. And with his big body he's most likely stronger than the rest, so not only is there a gun, but a strong body type, yeah, there's a very low chance of me surviving. Then we got Dipsy, the middle child of the group, since honestly I have not said this character's name correctly any time that I have brought him into conversation. I have called him Dripsy, Drop, the green one that kinda looks like someone just barfed on it and they just never mind cleaning it. Anyways, this one is a dancer, which could help him somewhat, and just like the others, he's also a grappler, with him actually being the second biggest Teletubby, which means he's a bigger target, but in the trade-off he could be stronger, with his item of choice being his cool hat, which I respect, but it brings nothing to the fight, giving him practically nothing. So basically, this is just a dancer that's a bit slow, so with a bat, I think I could easily beat up this perv. Look it up, he got into problems after groping someone in 2017. Okay, so now we got the SpongeBob of the group, Lala, the second female Teletubby, and just like the rest of the Teletubbies, she loves big hugs, so I could see her also being a grappler, with the main objective being to stay out of her clutches, with the object of her choice being her favorite orange ball, which really has no advantage during the fight besides that it could just annoy me if she keeps on throwing the ball into my face. But like, I feel like an axe would probably be the best weapon. If I swing hard enough, I could either pop the ball or launch it far away where she can't reach it, which in either circumstances I can see her getting mad, but on the bright side, I get rid of her object. The biggest threat for her is that she knows how to dance and do ballet, which I think would raise her chance of beating me, even more than Dipsy, since if she knows how to move, she can potentially know how to use her strong legs to her advantage, and although she is the second smallest, she would still be 6'6", so way taller than little old me. So if I had to put her danger into a category, I wouldn't think it would be the hardest fight, and it could be a decently easy fight with me having an axe, but it has the potential to be difficult if she knows how to fight to her full capabilities. Okay, and finally we got my boy Nunu. And he's not a Teletubby, but according to the fandom page, it's the Teletubby's pet, as well as their housekeeper and guardian. So I'm just going to ignore the whole moral ramifications or potentially dangers of making a vacuum cleaner your guardian, or just let alone your pet being your guardian, or just owning a vacuum cleaner. But the way I would take it down would be simple. Although it's able to move its suction tube with ease, and even extend it, it's still a vacuum cleaner. So first you would attack its strongest point, the tube. So maybe while it tries to suck me up, I could throw books in there to give them some extra time, or maybe even some holy water, because I'm not 100% sure it's not a demon. But if you break the tube via a good couple swings from a bat or something, it would be completely defenseless, with the best it could do being it could run away. But since the Teletubbies are fast enough to chase after it with their normal human speed, I should be able to catch up and push it over and beat it to oblivion, making me the winner of this fight. So basically in a fight I could handle around 2 with ease, with one of them being a vacuum. 2 would be a struggle, or at least have the potential to be, and 1 would straight up murder me in cold blood, which in all honesty I would count as a victory, if you count my grading scales correct, and also I go to a school that takes D's as passing. But if you think I'm being too harsh on my grading scale or have faith in me, or you just want to tell them more ways they could kick my behind, tell me in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to help my social validation, because I am low. And I hope to see you next time on Something Z. P.S. Never trust a Telly.
That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, click on the video to true left.